The foods that we ate before that kept us strong during winter. Winter has always been the enemy. Cold steals calories, darkness shortens days, movement slows. Before electric light and global supply chains, survival depended on food that could hold strength in the body for months. Picture late autumn. Fields are bare. Trees stand quiet. The work has already been done. What matters now is what sits stored in cellars, smokehouses, and crocks. This food decides who makes it to spring. Grain formed the backbone, not soft white bread, dense whole grain loaves, rye, barley, and emmer wheat, ground coarse, baked hard, heavy in the hand. One slice feels solid. It breaks with resistance. Chewing takes time. That effort slows hunger and stretches energy. Rye bread dominated northern winters. Dark, sour, slightly damp inside, it resisted mold. Acids from fermentation preserved it. A loaf could last weeks. It filled the stomach and burned slow. Ideal for cold labor. Porridge followed. Grain, cracked or crushed, cooked thick. Steam rising from a clay pot and a wooden spoon standing upright in the middle. This was heat turned edible. Warmth moved from bowl to chest, just like that. Fat or salt added when available. Sometimes a bit of dried fruit tossed in. Nothing wasted. Animal fat mattered more than muscle meat. Fat carried calories dense enough to survive the cold, that's for sure. Lard, tallow, and butter were winter fuel, rendered clean, stored solid. A spoonful added to grain changed everything. Energy doubled and body heat followed. Salted meat was survival food, not luxury. Pork, beef, goat, cut thick, packed in salt until the moisture drained out, texture stiff, smell sharp. Before eating, it soaked in water, then simmered slow. The salt remained, and so did the strength. Fish carried entire coastal regions through winter. Cod, herring, eel. These were the staples, Folks would split 'em open, then salt or dry 'em out in the wind. The flesh would turn pale and stiff, and, well, it even sounded hollow when you struck it. Before cooking, they'd soak it in water. And just like that, the protein sort of returned to life. Fermentation kept vegetables alive when fresh greens vanished. Cabbage was packed tight, salt drawn out, and a weight pressed down on top. After a few weeks, sauerkraut emerged. Sour, sharp, alive. The crunch echoed in your mouth, and it carried vitamin C when scurvy was waiting just around the corner. Turnips and onions filled cellars all winter long. Earth clung to their skins, and the cool, damp air slowed rot. Before cooking, folks would brush the dirt away by hand. Turnips boiled soft, onions sweetened up in fat. These simple roots, well, they prevented starvation. Beans mattered, dried hard and rattling in sacks, cooked long. They softened into dense, filling food. Combined with grain, they formed complete nutrition. The stomach stayed full. Muscles held. Cheese stored protein and fat in compact form. Hard wheels aged through winter, rinds thick, interiors sharp and crumbly. A knife scraped flakes into stew. Mold meant survival, not spoilage when controlled. Eggs survived without shells breaking through water glass or lime solutions. Yolks stayed rich, whites stayed firm. Protein lasted into deep winter. A cracked egg in February meant careful planning succeeded. Honey replaced sugar, thick, slow pouring, Cold hardened it, but warmth loosened it again. It preserved fruit and herbs, and it fed fermentation. It never spoiled. A spoon gave quick energy when fatigue set in. Dried fruit mattered more than sweetness. Apples, pears, berries, sliced thin, hung near hearths. Leathered and chewy, they returned sugar and vitamins months later. Teeth worked hard, but reward followed. Broth was constant. Bones simmered for hours and steam fogged rooms. Fat shimmered on top. Minerals returned to the body. Nothing edible left the household unused. Cracked bones gave more. Well, spices back then were, rare but really functional. They weren't for decoration, not at all. Folks used things like mustard seed, garlic, and horseradish. Those sharp flavors, they helped stimulate the appetite when the same old meals kind of dulled your hunger. They also did their part to slow down spoilage. And, heat from those spices mattered a lot in winter food. Alcohol, you see, served nutrition just as much as it did pleasure. There was small beer, ale, and mead, usually low strength. It was a safe way to stay hydrated. Calories dissolved right there in the liquid. And, yeah, warmth spread through your body after swallowing. Fermented drinks, well, they carried grain through the long months. Meals usually followed the daylight. Most folks had one heavy meal near dusk. That way, body heat could carry you into the night. Fasting overnight helped conserve your stores. The fire burned low, and food kept working inside the body even as you rested. Texture told truth. Food was firm, dense, resistant, nothing fluffy. Weight equaled survival. A full stomach felt heavy, not bloated. Energy arrived slow and steady. Visual order mattered. Food stored high stayed dry. Food buried stayed cool. Every shelf had purpose. Every container sealed tight. Illness, well, it changed the rules. Extra fat and extra broth became more important than strict rationing. When the body failed, strength mattered a whole lot more than how long the food would last. Spring hunger was real, Stores ran low, and folks had to stretch their winter food until those first green shoots came back. The ones who planned ahead survived. The ones who just guessed, well, they did not. Modern kitchens, they kinda hide these lessons from us. Heat comes easy now and food just seems to appear fresh whenever we want it. But cold still drains our energy, and our bodies still need dense fuel, just like before. So use these principles now. Eat fats when it's cold out. Choose slow carbohydrates. Ferment your vegetables. Store your protein properly. And, learn to trust texture and smell. Strength in winter, it comes from planning, not comfort. The past, it really proves that point. Subscribe to Shadows of History, share this with someone who needs it, and remember this when the cold returns.